The lead actress in the next Scream movie, Melissa Barrera, has been fired from her role for agreeing with the United Nations and an Israeli historian on what Israel is committing in Gaza. Yes, you heard that right. So I'm going to go over these details, which are, I want to say, shocking or surprising, but they're not, considering what we've seen already. So I have many more examples to get to of people losing various jobs because of what they said, what they have come out to do in terms of defending Palestinians and calling out a far right wing Israeli government. It really is amazing times we are living in. So here is the headline from Variety. Spyglass says Melissa Barrera was fired from Scream due to rhetoric that flagrantly crosses the line into hate speech. So they go on to write here. This is a statement from Spyglass, a spokesperson there. Spyglass's stance is unequivocally clear. We have zero tolerance for anti-Semitism or the incitement of hate in any form, including false references to genocide, ethnic cleansing, Holocaust distortion, or anything that flagrantly crosses the line into hate speech. So what did Melissa Barrera do? Must have been pretty bad, right? Barrera has been posting on her Instagram about the conflict, resharing a post that accuses Israel of genocide and ethnic cleansing, and one from Jewish Currents magazine about distorting the Holocaust to boost the Israeli arms industry. Barrera agreed with the United Nations and an Israeli historian from a piece in, as I'll show you right here, Jewish Currents, which, in case it wasn't clear, run by Jewish people. Writers are Jewish. A textbook case of genocide. Israel has been explicit about what it's carrying out in Gaza. Why isn't the world listening? This is from Rez Siegel, who is an associate professor of Holocaust and genocide studies at Stockton University and the endowed professor in the study of modern genocide. An expert in this field, writing a piece about what Israel is clearly committing. And she loses a leading role. Now, I want to note here, I don't even know who Melissa Barrera is. I haven't watched a Scream movie since I was a kid in the 90s. The reason why this story matters is because of the chilling effect this has across really not just Hollywood, but generally. Telling people, hey, if you come out and speak out against this genocide, you may lose your job. You may lose your job in Hollywood, or you may lose whatever other position you're in, as we'll get to later on with some other examples. If you speak out about against what is clearly happening, that may be it for you. You may lose your house. You may not be able to provide for your family. So it is the impact that it has on everybody else and pushing them into silence. So just to read from the piece here, a couple of quotes. Again, this is from the Jewish Currents piece. The UN has warned that the flight of people from the northern part of Gaza to the south will create devastating humanitarian consequences and will transform what is already a tragedy into a calamitous situation. So this was a piece, I believe, from late October or early October, October 13th. This has already happened. So we have already seen the devastating humanitarian consequences because of that push to the south and the ongoing bombing campaign of bombing 2.2 million people stuck within a tiny piece of land. He also goes on to write here, the UN Genocide Convention lists 5 acts that fall under its definition. Israel is currently perpetuating 3 of these in Gaza. 1, killing members of the group. 2, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. 3, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. Again, Melissa Barrera pushed this article out on her social media, agreeing with this. This is why she got fired, for agreeing with an Israeli historian about the acts that Israel is committing that simply states what the UN is also stating. The United Nations. The United Nations. The hate group, the United Nations. Absolutely insane. So here is right from the UN themselves. UN experts decry bombing of hospitals and schools as crimes against humanity, call for prevention of genocide. It is like, I want to say history will not be kind to these people in power who are forcing people out or firing people because of their their calls against genocide. But it's obvious now. We shouldn't need history to look back at this time and see who was right and wrong. It's clear now what is going on. So this is what Barrera said on social media, or didn't say on social media, but she's not yet commented officially on her dismissal from the film, but has continued to share information on Gaza on her social media platform. Reposted on her Instagram stories earlier this week a photo that reads, "At the end of the day, I'd rather be excluded for who I include than be included for who I exclude." So while it appears that she has not released an official comment, this may be alluding to her firing here. And it's good to see her willing to stand up in the face of this insanity. Another example that also just happened, talent agency UTA has reportedly dropped Susan Sarandon as a client for showing support for Palestine. Like, what do you say to this? This is completely nuts. Here, just so we're clear on where the far-right-wing Israeli government stands, this is the former Israeli Interior Minister saying in Israeli media here, Channel 13, saying, quote, "After we turn Khan Yunis, which is a city in Gaza, into a soccer field, we need to take advantage of the destruction to tell the countries that each of them should take a quota. We need all 2 million to leave. That's the solution for Gaza." Literal ethnic cleansing. Forcing these people out of their homes. 2.2 million of them. This is ethnic cleansing. They are openly encouraging this. And people are supposed to stay silent about this far right-wing Israeli government and the obvious human rights abuses they are committing. Here's another example of someone losing a position. After CAA agent Maha Dakil sparked controversy with a series of posts on Instagram, including one that said, quote, "What's more heartbreaking than witnessing genocide? Witnessing the denial that genocide is happening." I hear that. She was demoted by the talent agency before apologizing and telling Variety that she had made a mistake, forcing people to reverse the obvious facts they have stated because they're afraid of, losing their livelihood. Variety also reported that some of her colleagues wanted her fired, a consequence that others in the industry are also starting to face. So there really is this. It's very clear based on just how silent a lot of people are right now. I'm talking, celebrities. It's very clear a lot of them are afraid to point out what is going on because they're afraid of losing their careers. And this is also clear here. So Vox has this piece is from the beginning of November. So about 21 days ago. And it goes over just at that point, just, a little over a month after October 7th, or a little under a month after October 7th, all the people that have lost positions because of the statements they have made. So Pulitzer Prize-winning author Viet-Thanh Nguyen, who was supposed to speak at Manhattan Cultural Hub 92 NY, but saw his event abruptly pulled after he signed an open letter condemning Israel's war in Gaza. The editor-in-chief of science journal eLife, Michael Eisen, who was fired after reposting an Onion article about Gaza with the headline, "Dying Gazans Criticized for Not Using Last Words to Condemn Hamas." Web Summit CEO Patty Cosgrave, who tweeted that war crimes are war crimes even when committed by allies, referring to Israel's war in Gaza, then had to resign from leading Europe's biggest tech conference. Boston Works Circle, a Jewish cultural center that got ousted from the Boston Jewish Community's umbrella group after co-sponsoring a rally calling for a ceasefire. The Israeli professors, journalists, and lawmakers who have been suspended, fired, or even arrested for criticizing the war in Gaza. So I imagine there are more examples here at these links. I'll link to this below the video, by the way, if you want to go through all of it. And even an Israeli hostage who was recently released from captivity. The 85-year-old stated that she was given access to medical care and treated well while in captivity, and Israeli officials moved to prevent any similar press conferences in the future. So I'll link. This is a great piece, by the way. I'll link to this below. It's written by Siegel Samuel, so it's worth checking out. Last thing, on the other side of that, you have this. Noah Schnapp, who is a Stranger Things star, this guy, has been liking Islamophobic and queerphobic content defending bombing of Gaza. And there's a long piece on this, many examples. Has this guy lost any roles? Is he fired from Stranger Things? Is he even in Stranger Things still? I haven't watched that show since season 2. But there's been no stories about him losing any roles. And he has been very, incredibly active in his Islamophobia and his pro-ethnic cleansing stance. And it's been disgusting. So there's a lot of examples through this piece. But again, an example of the other side and how there are no repercussions at all for supporting this genocide. It's really insane what we're seeing right now, but it's important to note here that it's these few high-profile examples really leads to a chilling effect around not just Hollywood, but all industries in scaring people into coming out and stating obvious facts.